Hello my friends, welcome to the channel. My name is Chico-Lopez. In this channel here is about the American Pit-bull-terrier, the real American Pit-bull-terrier. Today we're going to talk about a few very important dogs that you need to know about, your children need to know about, that inspire their lives to become better men, better women. Today we're going to talk about a dog, two dogs, mainly two dogs, and how the life of these dogs inspire humanity, continues to inspire humanity. And when we look at the life of the Bagman, and we look at the life of Awesome Buck, and we look at the life of some of these great dogs from our kennel in the past, there are so many stories that we haven't published, and sometime in the future we'll publish them, of our life that, to be honest with you, go a lot deeper than some of these stories here. I mean, some of the things that, historical things that happened in the past when I was a lot younger are completely amazing. So let me just go back into this, and you know, this is going to be about dogs. It's going to be very exciting because the dogs that we have are actually superheroes. So let me just say this to you. We are in the year 2020, and Hollywood created movies that inspired men like myself. I'm a 48 years old man, and these stories from Hollywood, like Rambo or Rocky Balboa and things like Never Give Up, movies like recent movies like Horses from Secretariat, you know, inspire you like to, you know, never give up and be like a horse, or maybe be like a dog or something like this. When we were kids, and us that we love dogs, when we were children, we used to get inspiration from our dogs. You know, we really had a top dog. We really wanted to have a top dog in the neighborhood. And you know, people that love cats probably not gonna understand this. It's more for people that really love dogs. And if you have those children that like to play athletics and football or basketball or running or swimming and stuff like that, they like to go out fishing. If you come from a conservative family, you're definitely gonna like this. You know, you're gonna understand that not all dogs are equal. One of the dogs, we're gonna talk about these dogs. We're gonna talk about, number one, the dog by the name of Snobby. We're gonna talk about the two dogs. One is called Togo, and the other one is Basco. And finally, we might talk about a dog by the name of Buck. My friend, partner, and a very influential person here next to me will help me with the topics. You will hear her voice, and her name is Thais Lopez. Welcome to the show, Thais.
Hello, hello.
And we're very excited about cranking out this video and bringing this information here. So, what do you know? Have you heard about the dog, Stubby, before we started talking about it? A little bit. You did hear about him?
Yeah, I heard about it. Only small details.
Small details. So I'm going to digress a little bit on Sergeant Stubby. First of all, he was a United States dog, and we talk about this connection on 2020 and the American Pit-bull-terrier in the 1900s, even prior to the 1900s. How these dogs in the 1900s at the beginning and some of the 1800s were actually very connected to pugilism, to boxers, okay? Jack Johnson, Jack Dempsey, the famous Sullivan, they were in love with these dogs. And they were like, really not like own the dogs and they in my house, you just feed them. They literally did activities with the dogs that involved having inspiration from one to another. It was incredible. The bond, exactly. And that's what I want you to be here at the show. You can help me with some of these words that I have here. I have some keywords. I'm going to read these keywords to you because through the video, I want you to look for these words. Inspiration, motivation, people that have common sense, influence on a dog, adventure, taking risk, going into danger, surviving danger, having courage, and being alive. These are words, keywords that we're going to use as we discuss these topics. So, who was Snubby? Snubby, I'm looking here at the Wikipedia, and you guys can do that in your homes as well. The dog Snubby, it came about on the 1917 and 1918. I'm sorry about those years, are very old, so I don't pronounce them so oftenly. So put this in your head, 1917 and 1918. Those were the years where this dog was actually in the service. Hollywood decided to make a movie. The same people that created the Hulk, the Iron Man, and all these other heroes are starting to understand that somehow we have been disconnected with those era where dogs were very important. So they came out with the movie, which you can look at it, is actually a cartoon, and it's a story of a dog called Sergeant like in the army, Sergeant Stubby, Stubby, Stubby. And Sergeant Stubby, he belonged to the 102nd Infantry, and he went to war in France. He went to 17 different battles, and he helped the United States forces during World War I. So the dog was a pit bull mix, which was very common. On those times, they didn't have exactly any standard defined in many dogs. In some of them they did. And this dog could have been in some level of a standard by looking at pictures of him. Looks like a lot of the dogs in the past. Believe it or not, it looks like some of the dogs of today as well. I wouldn't say that today he would be considered a high quality American Pit Bull Terrier, but according to the stories, he does have a lot of those great qualities of the American Pit Bull Terrier. Number one, he was very friendly. He loved children. He loved people. He loved to have attention. He loved to have lots of love around him. Kind of reminds me of our dog called Mechanic Bug. Mechanic Bug, as you see some videos with Thais, he loves to have this, attention. He wants to be like with you and empower you and promote you and stuff like that. So Snubby was that kind of dog. And if you look at the phone, maybe on this phone here, I send you some pictures of this dog. I think I got it right here. And I'm going to probably be able to show you guys some of the pictures here. And that is him, okay, with some of the soldiers. And that's him right there. Look at all the medals and stuff that he had. And so Hollywood came out with a movie, and you guys that have children that love the American Pit Bull Terrier, you need to check it out. Tell your father to get it on Netflix or whatever system you have in your country, and make sure that you watch the movie. It's about an American Pit Bull Terrier mix. Today you go into an airport, today you go into a place, you tell them you have a dog, and they say, oh, this is a Pit Bull Terrier mix, and they discriminate the dog. In the early 1900s, he was a hero. They loved the dog. He was special. They called him the nanny dogs. And society and breeders have made sure to destroy the breed by breeding them for the wrong reasons. They're breeding these double X, giant dogs, killer dogs, protection dogs, and all that stuff. And they do it all for money. They do it all without knowing what they're doing. And they always have somebody that is ignorant enough to follow these trends, which are destructive to the breed. There's a real standard, and that's why my channel is called The Real American Pit Bull Terrier. THE, Real Real Pit Bull, I'm sorry. THE, Real Pit Bull Terrier. That's my channel. Although all those domains are mine, by the way. So, THE, realpitbull.com. Okay? So, that was Snubby. That was a fantastic dog, right?
Do you believe that a bully can survive, say a bully that were created today could survive the standards of the men in the past?
It will never survive the standards of the men in the past. That's a very good question. The question was, if I believe that a bully of today will survive the men of the past, our great-grandparents and our great-great-grandparents. Those were men that were tough. They created the world. When American, these things come from the United States. Remember, it's called American Pit Bull Terrier. So when it comes to America didn't have light, and then Thomas Alva Edison created light, and these American Pit Bull Terrier dogs were still being formed. They were getting dogs from Ireland and England and creating the breed as we know it. The men that you gotta think about it, and I want you to stop for a second and pay a lot of attention, kind of concentrate a little bit on what I'm saying right here. There are some special men and some special people that have the capacity to influence the world, to change the world. Think about Steve Jobs for a second. All these engineers that invented all these different things that could have been the iPhone, they couldn't crank it up. He came over, he didn't invent the iPhone. He knew about the technicians and the engineers that were putting the project together. It was him, the one that put it together and passed it on to humanity. He knew how to create the process, so he gets the credit of the iPhone. We see the light, the energy by, American men President of the United States, Benjamin Franklin, and then we see that was electricity, and then we see Thomas Alva Edison in America, United States. Then we see how the man from Serbia, Nikola Tesla, comes to America, gets employed by Edison, and all this influence from these minds, the men of those times, the minds, the way they were thinking. The Rockefeller, for instance, the man that came from nowhere. He was one of 9 or 13 children. He used to sell newspapers to support his family, help his family. He was a boy, he never gave up. And he came from poverty. He became one of the wealthiest men in the world and still one of the strongest families in the world. He came from nothing. Those type of men were born on adversity, and they changed the world. Whenever you see somebody driving a car, it was because somebody in the United States had the idea to create a car. Whenever you see somebody turning on a light, it was someone in the United States. Whenever you see someone on a computer, it was in the United States. The internet was in the United States. This YouTube channel was somebody in the United States. Yes, the United States has people from all over the world, and that is the key. The best elements, the best from Mexico, the best from India, the best from Honduras, the best from Ireland, the best from England. And when it comes to the dogs, it's exactly the same thing. You get the best dogs. You get the best dogs from Ireland, the selected ones. You get the selected dogs from England. And you got the selected men that put those dogs together. Of course, there was a rupture in explaining all the videos on my channel, which I invite you to watch those videos at pitbulluniversity.com. That's my channel for videos. pitbulluniversity.com. You can see those videos when I explain to you what is the real American Pit Bull Terrier, what are the fake pit bulls, and so on and so forth. But the topic today is about Snobby. And Snobby was a real great dog in a really strong time where men will not allow something that was weak or wicked to be around them. They wanted a beautiful dog that will have courage and be with them to war. Imagine you're going to war. You want to have someone that will influence your courage because you're going to battle. These are young men. These are 17, 18-year-old guys that are going to war, and they decided to bring this puppy with them, this dog, and this dog goes to war and help them. How big is that? I'll give you the second story. We'll talk about 2 dogs. You probably know about the dog Basco, very famous dog. And this dog Basco, the story, let me get it for you here. If you haven't heard about Basco, I think there's a statue of Basco in New York City, and I think there's one also of the dog called Togo. There was a man, and this man, I forgot, I wasn't looking at I started seeing the movie. His name was Leon Hart, not Leonard, but Leon Hart Cepala. Leon Hart Cepala. I'm actually reading my computer here. And he says that in 1973, December 5th to 1929, he used to have these sleigh dogs, right? And so there was in Alaska, in a very remote city, in a small little town of just a few hundreds or a few thousands, there was a virus that was going to kill all the children, right? That's in the movie. The movie is called, actually, Togo?
Togo.
The movie is called Togo, so write it down, T-O-G-O, Togo. You're going to love this movie. I watched the movie, I cried. And I will tell you why I cried in a little bit. You will cry too. I promise you will cry too, but I cried and my feelings were like really deep. So when it comes, and it were really deep because of that monster you hear barking there and playing with the ball. So when it came to the movie Togo, this man was a breeder. He didn't want to be a breeder. He kind of like became a breeder of dogs. There was this one puppy that has a lot of the qualities that I look for my dogs. So I was actually talking to my friend in Europe today, and he said like, man, I really don't like them that crazy. And I told him, I said, listen, that's what makes him special. That's awesome buck. That's really what makes him special. That craziness, that, the screamer, that's really the drive and that the balance between being the dog of velvet, like mechanic buck, but at the same time being the dog that wants to do the mission and complete that mission, is not going to surrender. And so when it comes to this gentleman here, in the movie you can see he had a puppy. This is a movie spoiler, by the way. He had the puppy was born. He didn't want him because the puppy was too crazy. He had these sleigh dogs that he had to have a leader. It's called a lead dog. And so if you had a dog that was too crazy and he didn't know how to follow orders, he was completely not good for him. He was out of the standard. And so the man, this puppy was too persistent. He was too crazy. He tried to get rid of him. He gave him away. He broke the window in the house that he was in. He came back. He made it to where he was at. He couldn't get rid of the puppy. He did whatever he can but kill the puppy so the puppy will go away. But the wife wanted to be around with the puppy.
Also, the wife loves the puppy.
The wife loved the puppy, of course. She loved it. It was a really loving puppy. And turns out to be this loving puppy had more courage than anything. He was on their side. Kind of reminds me of the movie Seabiscuit. You know, he was not as big as Secretariat, but he was also a winner. They had a lot of heart, right? Kind of like Chilindrina, you know, he had a lot of heart. She got the great, she's missing an eye, but she has a lot of heart. So when it comes to these amazing dogs, I'm going to read for you some facts, okay? Because I like to read some facts. It says that in 1925, a Syrian run, which means that we're going with the dogs, they were going to the northern part of Alaska. He says that this dog by himself, he ran in a very adverse winter, one of the worst winters, record-breaking winters. He ran 250 miles, about 400 kilometers, and that was the dog called Togo. He said the dog Valto, which actually I believe came from the same kennel, along other sled dogs that ran to help this, you know, they did like a kind of relay type of run to get this serum. These dogs run an average of 31 miles. So when this dog, which was already a very old dog, Togo, he was almost dying, the medicines were taken by the group, the guy that had the dog Vasco, and he ran the last leg. And when they presented the serum and celebrated the children, he became the hero. Everybody's like, I want to take a picture of this great dog. And they took the picture of the dog, and the dog became famous. So the real hero, Togo, it was not known by the normal people, and he's on the video, on the movie. And then what happens is, he says that while the other 48 states that were in love with the dog in the picture, which means the common people, the masses, were in love with the people, selected breeders, they understood the truth, they knew the facts, they knew that privileged information, they will fly over and breed to him and get puppies. So these Sepala Huskies are very well known, and they are working dogs. And this is what I tell people when they say, one second, this is what I tell people, I'm sorry, this is what I like people when they tell me, oh, I want somebody that has working dogs. I don't want someone with working dogs. I want someone with working dogs that can perform, and please give me the data. I'm a crazy guy about data. I want to know the data. I want to know the numbers. I want to know the stuff. I want to know it. I want to know everything. So just not working is simple. I want to know the numbers. And when we look at this Togo story, and we look at the story of the dog, his brother or relative Balto, we understand that we have numbers and data that backed up that this dog was really special. Not only that, he won one of those Alaska races. I don't know, it's called the Iditarod, which was really tough. If you guys ever went to Discovery Channel, you can see a show about a kennel, documentary about a kennel called Happy Trails. I love it. And the guy Happy Trails, listen, if the puppy don't make it, he gets put down to sleep. I mean, it is what it is. They select the best dog because their lives and missions and humanity depends on these dogs. Up to this point, I'm talking to you about dogs that connect with humans, dogs that are working, dogs that are willing to go the extra mile, dogs that are heroes. And when these men, when you see the movie of Togo, you cry. You see the connection between the man and the dog. And if you see the stories that run between these two ears right here, between this ear and this ear, and I think about dogs like the Pac-Man, and hero dogs like Awesome Buck, and Mechanic Buck, and the amazing animals, it's like in so many other levels, and I know Hollywood uses great dogs, and that's perfectly fine, and it's studied and everything, but humanity, the American people, the great American people, are missing a lot of them to understand and to know and discover the real American-pit-bull-terrier, these dogs right here. Not to ever be confused with the regular pit bulls and the extra large and the giant pit bulls. These dogs are in a blink of extinction because it's a special bloodline that is very fragile. When you take the genes out of this and you mix them with whatever the other breeders have, you completely destroy it. It's like having a special group selected of just a few elements which are the best racing horses in the world, and everyone else that's breeding horses actually have mules and barn horses. You can't mix them like that. So, the process of developing the dogs, the process of preserving the dogs, I have a complete direct lineage to the 1800s, to the same data of the 1913 when you had Togo, the same years when you had Snobby on the 1917 and 1918. On those days, my dog, the Backman, my dog Awesome Mayday, my dog Awesome Buck had direct relatives that go directly in a straight line, shoot through the past, and my dogs are connected like this with the American heritage. And that's why I don't sell these dogs to anybody. That's why I keep them for myself. I'm so sorry, I get so excited when it comes to these things with the dogs. But the story of Snobby, I just gave it to you. The story of Togo and Baldo is there. Hollywood doesn't know how great the stories of the real American Pit Bull Terrier are. And there's a huge disconnection between the 1940s, 50s, and going forward. It was completely disconnection. And the whole breed got destroyed, and the organization that raised their dogs didn't care about them. Now they raise their bullies. They just don't care. They raise their dogs and toilet paper. But we have the real American Pit Bull Terrier. I'm so sorry I get so excited. Go ahead, Thais Lopez. She wants to bring some information to the channel. You guys, I hope you're enjoying the video. We're giving you this from the heart. There's a lot of passion. There's a lot of feelings going on here. You guys need to go watch those movies. You need to watch the channel, subscribe to it, share with all your friends. Go ahead, Thais.
Just to add a little bit of details. By the way, very exciting story. Very exciting. All the subject you are telling. I'm very proud. But
the thing about it is, it's the truth, though.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, you know about this great dog. That's
yes,
Speed, for instance.
Yes. Just want to add something. Is a detail. Is very important detail about the bloodlines individuals, because
absolutely
on Sepulpa kennels.
Pay attention to what she's saying. Pay attention. Let me get you into focus to what she's saying. In the Sepulpa kennels, you have many dogs, but there was one Togo, right?
Yeah.
And that created a bloodline.
Is what you are talking about, bloodlines and individuals.
Individuals.
Because both dogs come from the same kennel.
The same kennel, which has the same bloodline.
Yeah, but Togo was an individual inside the bloodline that was super relevant to the future.
Relevant to the future, and he was different. He was like an upgrade to the dogs.
His genetics pass through his kids,
through his kids,
and basically make his own golden vein to the
his own golden vein in some. Imagine how special it is when you look at that stuff of, like, for instance, you look at something like this Togo dog and in the bloodline, one dog, maybe a few females related. When you got a dog like Awesome Buck, for instance, right, and you got Ciega the Great is related to him, you got Deadly Speed, you got Chilindrina, you got Carmela Soprano, and you got all these animals together, you understand? You got Pichenka, you got all these heroes together. I mean, it's so powerful. In the golden vein, it is so amazing, and that's why I'm so protective. And I'm sorry to those guys that don't have these dogs, and they have other dogs, and they're like, man, I want to get one of your dogs. So listen, man, I really wish I can help you, but I can't destroy my family of dogs to help you guys better your dogs, because that's always been the culture when it comes to the American Pit Bull Terriers, right? In the past was, they were waiting for a guy like let's say Eric Tudor to have Blackjack, and then he let everybody breed to the dogs, and they create their own bloodlines. And that happens when you came to Carver. They went to Carver. Carver was shining. They went to Carver, got dogs from Carver, but they keep destroying the bloodlines. So when it came to Chico-Lopez has the dogs. Everybody wants to come in. Chico-Lopez says, no, we're not going to go. And it has to do a lot with how pure, how great this bloodline is. The huge quantity of individuals. In other words, Mr. Leo Harsh, Chapala had one Togo. I have all these Togos and Togas and all this greatness all in one. It's so much more than this man had back then, right? And and you can't just share it. You can't, and it's a little complicated.
It's not about sharing, it's about protecting
it from breeding it and breeding it out.
People.
Yes, and choosing the right people, of course. So, for people and children that watch these videos and stuff like that, the men that created American, you can watch a movie that's, a series on TV is called The Men That Built America. And I know that some Latinos are going to or some people might hate America, which I find it to be disgusting. People that live in the United States and hate America. But you know, America is the beaming light to society, many things. I'm not going to talk on behalf of the government or politics or anything like that. There's a lot of great people in the United States of America, and they have added value in tremendous way to America. I love my American flag, and I love my American country, and I love my American people. I'm very patriotic towards the United States of America. The British call the American-pit-bull-terrier, and you know, I am saving it. I'm carrying these dogs. My life is behind it. I put 27 years. Soon it'll be 30 years or more. One soon I'm going to be a very old man, and I'm going to have all this story among these dogs. But I want you guys to know how Hollywood is the same Hollywood that created the Hulk, or the work with the Hulk, the movie, the Spider-Man. Now we have those war heroes. These dog heroes.
This is a true story.
These are true stories, and these are dogs that inspire humanity. So when you get a puppy from the Golden Vein, from chico-lopez, you get one from Awesome Mayday, you get one from Atos, or we getting one from Mayweather or whatever. And we get it from this great dog. Mayweather is an amazing dog, and we getting puppies out of these dogs. These dogs influence the family, and you take a look at all our clients, all the people that got our dogs. They're very happy. They're like, "Oh my God, this is the greatest dog I ever had." You understand? And of course, you know, we want great homes to have them. And the process of qualifying is not easy, because I need to make sure that there's no straw buyers. You know, somebody that is acting like he's going to buy a dog for himself, but is actually somebody sent by a breeder, or somebody sent, even worse, by a current dog fighter that's trying to fight some dogs, and we don't want to know nothing about that society. So we want to make sure that the people that get our dogs are really great people, really great human beings, because we want the children of the future to enjoy these dogs. We want those children to understand the history of dogs like Togo, understand the history of dogs like Snobby, understand the history, and take these dogs and pass them on to their children.
I don't know you, but when I was a kid, when I was a
you
teenager,
don't know me, but you know.
No, I'm talking about me. I don't know if you had the same experience.
Okay.
But when I was a teenager, and you know, we have this kind of bullies in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
So we take our dogs and we say, look, this represents me, so you cannot, you know.
Yeah, your dog represents you.
Yeah, you cannot.
Listen, you know,
me,
but you know what? I'm going to tell you something.
Bully me.
You cannot bully me, but I'm going to tell you something. It's exactly the way it used to be with me. You know, I was 7 years old, and my dog, his name was Guardian. By the time Guardian was already 4 years old, I had him when I was a little bit. Was a mix of some shepherd, something like that type of dog, and he was very athletic. He was very nice with me. Obviously, he couldn't knock me inside the house. Having a dog on the chain outside was very common back then. People were not crying tears, crocodile tears, nothing like that. The dogs didn't have, like, you know, the nails painted, nothing. Dogs were like dogs, you know. And so I'll go fishing with him, and then, you know, sometimes he will go and bring me, we used to call them back home tacuacines, which are the possums. He'll bring me a possum, and he'll grab a big possum. I remember I brought a big possum, and I took it to a lady hung it on a scale. She said, look, it was worth about $5. That was the biggest bill I had in that time. It's like, Mom, you got to give me some more. And I said, well, you got this tacuacines, you're going to give me some more. I was just a child, you know. And you know, one thing about this Guardian dog, which was my first dog, you know, some of the dogs from the other neighborhoods will come in, I'll go tell him, I say, go crack that ass. Go ahead, do it. And he'll go get him. And when I'll go fishing, I go on a small bike, and I was afraid to go through this part of the town where they had these guys called Toledos. The Toledos, they used to have these pure German Shepherds. There were 3 of them, all right? And you couldn't go through the bike there because they'll bark at you, and I was a kid, I get afraid. With Guardian, I had the confidence to go through them. Because I went one time and I almost turned back around, and Guardian went and whooped that ass. All 3 dogs got whooped by Guardian. And I was never again afraid to go with Guardian. I was just a little boy. So Guardian was my backup man. He was the main man.
Nobody can bully you.
Nobody can bully me around him. Back in the Bronx in 1993, 94, and I tell you this, when I moved from Brooklyn to the Bronx, it was kind of special because in Brooklyn, the car you had is the kind of guy you had. It was more about the kind of car you had. You got a nice, beautiful Mercedes or Mazda RX-7 that you're really cool guy. But in the Bronx, it was not so much about the car. In the Bronx, it was about the dog you had. And it was nominated one time or called 2-page article, 3-page article by the Daily News around 1995, 97. And it was called, they call it Pitbull Cities. They said that per capita, it was the place that had more pit bulls per person, among people. And it was crazy. We went to Texas and back in probably 2002 or 3, we flew back to New York with my friend from Texas. And I had told him the story. And then 2 o'clock in the morning, we went outside and a lady is walking a pit bull on one end, and we see a guy walking a pit bull. And everybody has a pit bull. In the Bronx, the dog you had meant who you were. So if you had a poodle, you were not a tough guy. And he goes back to Dale Brastrom. Dale Brastrom told me, he said in one of his letters that I have, one day I'm going to publish them on my books. He says clearly, he said, Chico, on that age, in those years, we as men, we needed to be as tough as we couldn't get sick, we couldn't get tired, we never complained, we couldn't cry. So the dog we had, it was us. And there was nothing better than a real American-pit-bull terrier. So of course, there's many changes that have gone through the breed, and I would not call everything a pit bull. The only reason I named my channel, the real-pitbull.com, it was because I wanted to bring the cookies on the lower shelf, because most people know it as pit bull. When I know it's a pit bull, somebody came and said, oh, that's an American-pit-bull terrier, that would drive me crazy. I don't know what you're talking about. They call them pit bulls, gated mouth, gated this, all this garbage in the streets. But the truth is, the breed itself is called American-pit-bull-terrier, 4 words. And so the people that think they know about American-pit-bull terriers, they call them APVTs. Okay, so they, they call them APVTs. But, simply, before they called them American-pit-bull terriers, they used to call them just pit dogs, bulldogs, or pit bulls. And so the word pit bull, it means strength, it means never giving up. It means these words that I wrote here, excuse me. It means pitbull, the word pitbull, it means inspiration, motivation, it means never giving up, it means people that have common sense, it means influence from a dog, because that attachment you have with the dog, that connection, right? Like you remember the word Togo in the movie? The connection of Togo and his owner, Mr. Sepala, it was amazing. So that's exactly what this is talking about here. Adventure, risk, danger, courage, believing in yourself. All of these things are in the word pitbull. So imagine these guys that took this big dog that is a mastiff. And listen, maybe it's a nice mastiff, but they call it giant pitbull. And then whatever channels there are, the Discovery Channel and Netflix or whatever, they roll the ball with this dog. That might be a nice dog, but it's not an American-pit-bull terrier. It's not connected with the line of American-pit-bull terriers.
If everybody ever doubt about the fake pit bull, just look at fake bags, fake shoes,
absolutely,
fake cars.
We're living in a fake world. We're living in a fake world. You got fake news, and nowadays, excuse me, but some guys might see a guy, might not be a guy, might be a woman, and stuff like that, and everything is fake now. So, what can I say? Going back to the topic, guys, dogs, are great. There are some people that really love dogs, and for those that really love dogs, guys, it's great to love dogs. But when you're gonna love dogs, love the very best dogs. People call me sometimes like, hey Chico, I want to get a good dog, and I said, I can't help you. I don't have a good dog. You probably can find for just a little bit of the fraction of the money that I asked for one of my puppies, a good dog. Because dog, what you call dog good, for me is maybe not good. You understand what I'm saying? So good dogs I don't have. I have great dogs. Because in my breeding program, good is the enemy of great. Just like the book. It's a book by the name of a guy by the name of Paul Jim Collins. Talks about being sustainable. That word, I haven't even talked about it before. I always use the word consistency, which is the cookies on the lower shelf. The next word after consistency, and I'm going to say it for the first time, I know the guys in the swamp that come to see these videos, they're not going to understand. It's called being sustainable. I'm sustainable. The golden vein back here is sustainable. and that is very important. So for you guys out there watching this video, please leave your comments below. My number, I'm gonna write it down here, is 281-226-0370. That is my phone number, and you can call me if you want to have a puppy. You know, not everybody qualifies. I'll take deposits. People wait for 6 months, 7 months, waiting for a puppy. They don't come around oftenly, and I only sell them for people that are approved. I want to make sure there's a heavy contract that enforces that only good people will buy them, so you know the breeders will stay away, and the breeders come across, they can get in trouble, or people that are doing illegal things. So it's a process. You put a deposit, if you get approved. If you want to know if you get approved to get one of my dogs, 281-226-0370 is my number. If somebody tells you the Chico is only marketing, tell them this. Come to the channel, pitbulluniversity.com, see how much you learn. And after you learn, you're gonna see it was not marketing. It was the real deal. The guy knows what he's talking about. He lives his dogs. He does own the dogs. He does have all these legends, all these merits. He doesn't sell dogs to anybody. And you are watching this video, more than likely, out of 100,000 people that watch this video, you probably never met a single person that owned one of my dogs. Your friends, your neighbors, in the chats and the groups you guys go to, some of you guys, no one owns one of my dogs. So it's not about just selling dogs. I'm not looking to sell dogs to just anybody.
The crazy guy about pit bulls.
I'm looking for the crazy guy about pit bulls.
Oh, you are the crazy
I am the crazy guy about pit bulls. and I'm looking for someone that's literally honest, sincere, has love for the breed, and he follows the way I think.
Share the passion for great
Share
things.
the passion for greatness, and then, you know, always eagles, ducks, and flies. Nothing, I don't hate eagle, I don't have flies or ducks. I think they're useful for life. When it comes to the American Pit-bull Terrier, I want people that are personality eagle. God bless you guys. Very exciting conversation here with my everyday guest, which is fabulous. She's amazing. She's beautiful. It's the greatest thing that ever happened to me. My wife, 1890’s Lopez, and I guess I'm gonna get something special. So, because I'm being nice, you know, very, very difficult to. You know how she called me? She called me the Grinch, the Pitbull Grinch. She said that I'm the Grinch, the Pitbull Grinch. Don't you call me the Grinch? And she used to call me, what was the name? Shrek. She said, I married Shrek, and Shrek became the Grinch. Very tough to be around me because I'm very detail-oriented. I'm very straightforward, want to get things done. My personality is not easy for a lot of people.
You are a pit bull.
I'm a pit bull. A lot of people,
You are a Grinch pit bull.
yeah, they used to say that, you know, it's like you took your blood and stuff like that. For you guys in the swamp, that you come enjoy the videos, listen, be nice, leave a good comment, you know? Share the video.
Share. Greatness is your choice.
Greatness is a choice, that's correct. God bless you again. The website, therealpitbull.com, or just go chico-lopez.com. God bless you. God bless America. God bless the real American Pit-bull Terrier. God bless you kids. Take care. Bye-bye.